Hello everyone and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Utsa and I am a mother of 3 boys and married to my husband who is a pastor. So that's why the channel's name is Shepherd's Wife, and welcome here. So it was in year 2015 that we got married, and I was 27 at that time, and I turned 28 in the same month that we got married. And within 3 months, my husband was appointed as a pastor in one of the churches among his own tribe in Delhi, particularly Gurgaon. So I was quite young, and it was not easy. It was quite hard, and then there were so many obstacles that came because I was married to a person who came from another culture, and what I knew, I did not know much of the traditions and cultures that he comes from, and the people we were serving were all from that community, and most of the church members were younger than us, younger than me also. So we were basically serving among the teenagers and people who were in their early 20s. There were few who were matured, but it was a challenge. I don't want to go to like very detail in this video. I just want to share the thing that I learned in all these years. So my husband has been serving as a pastor for about 7 years now, and me as a pastor's wife. So I grew up as a very controlling person, I should say, control freak, because things happen in my childhood. What I see now, I look back, so I can blame that to my childhood also, because there were things that did not go very well in the family, and then there were things that I had to deal with, which I did not realize that time. But I grew up to be very controlling, like if there are things with people, with situations, and different decisions in life, that if I see that I could not control it, I will panic and I will have anxiety. I would have a sadness that I could not express to anyone, and I became very like the term control freak. So whether it's friendship or relationship or any other areas of life, I wanted to have control over everything. And many say that God has a sense of humor and he does have a sense of humor, because when you are a pastor and particularly his wife, pastor's wife, your life is like out of control. There is very less things that are in your control, things like finances, things like social life, things like family time. So there is like nothing that goes according to your wish or according to you. So there was a drastic change in my life that I had to undergo as a pastor's wife, and along the process it was very difficult in the beginning, and then I murmured, I grumbled, I was depressed for a long time. There were problems in our marriage, there was problem in our parenting, because there were things, I would always see it like things slipping away from my hand because I could not control things. So, and one of the results of me trying to overcome and then gain my control over situation was that I started my own baking business while in Delhi, and that is a whole another video why I did that, and then how God took us out of that. Maybe I'll share some another day. And so, I realized in this ministry as a pastor's wife that, there is nothing that was in my control. If you have heard, or if you have really been close with a pastor's family, many of them will tell you, and I have heard this from most of the pastor's family and pastor and their wives, that they feel very lonely. And I even read somewhere that pastors are the loneliest people and their family is the loneliest family in the world, because you don't get to have much friends. Of course, like we are always among people, we are socializing, we have communities, we have a church where we get to meet women and men, but there are very few actual connections that happens. I think you'll be surprised that in these 7 years, this is the first time where I came when I got to make a friend, a real friend, like whom I can connect with whom I can share my heart. And then before coming here where we are serving right now, we are right now in Nagaland, but before that, for many years, I did not have a friend whom I can call a friend, and then whom I could share. We go through so many things. I really felt, a need of a friend in my life, and at that time, because I think we all, as social beings, we need some close connections. And I went through some very dark times during those years in Delhi. Of course, there were things that happened good also. We had babies, then we had some friends who supported us, helped us, but not that very person to person, personally connected friends. But we did have some people near and far who did pray for us, but not no real connection. Also, one thing I personally think I lack is a need of a mentor. I like these days somebody whom you see that this person, I really want that person to mentor me, and then you want to follow them, you want them to follow up on you, but time, people are busy, people don't have time to invest on others life. Everybody is busy with their works, with their families, so we cannot expect someone. So there was a huge gap of an elderly woman's elderly ladies guidance and mentorship in my life, and that also I think I lacked a lot. But for that, I diverted myself towards internet. So there were so many Christian women that I look up to, and then I listen to, and not only women but men also, who pastors whom I looked up to. And then I was, during those years of loneliness, I got introduced to so many good preachers and teachers whom I still listen to, and then who have helped develop my spiritual journey also. So I'm really thankful to God for that. People usually have a very high expectations on pastor's family, and not only the pastor himself but also wife and children. So by God's grace, in a way, I can help my husband, because I have a theological background. I did my MDiv, so I can help in some women ministry or youth ministry, and I can speak in some seminars or do some counselings. And also, in a way, I and my husband, we could help each other sometimes if one of us are doing some mistakes, or if we are getting into the teachings which are not doctrinally right, then we can correct each other, and then we can be accountable to each other. That is a good thing. But there are so many pastors out there whose wives, who are married to people, ladies who work in a secular world, and it's difficult for them, because they are from a complete different background, and then it gets hard for them to adjust. So I have seen so many pastors and reverends wife who do not connect with people who are not able to, because they feel judged, they feel looked down upon, because it's like people have been expecting so high of them, and they could not fill up their expectations, so then they feel insecure. And I have talked with some of the pastors' wives who feel that way, and it is not good, because it really makes them very lonely and sad. Sometimes many are depressed, and we can't tell to anybody. And there are sometimes problem in our marriage, sometimes we need guidance in our parenting, but when we do not have a proper mentor or a friend to share with, a godly friendship to share with, then it gets stuffed in our heart, and then we just get into a bad situation sometimes. And then if you go in and look into deeper into pastors' family, sometimes they have bad situations going on, and we have experienced that ourselves too, time to time. But ultimately, the today's video, like what I learned as a pastor's wife, is the greatest lesson that I have learned throughout these 7 years of being a pastor's wife, is my dependence, my this control freak nature that I had. And when I was put in a situation where I had to let go, then I learned, and I'm still learning, to let it go and to have a complete dependence on God ultimately. You know, throughout these years, this 7 years particularly has been really, really spiritually challenging and also groundbreaking time for me, because this is the time where I got closer to God. I got into the Word because I did not have people to talk with much. I did not have a group where I can socialize, or a friend with whom I can, just go visit and then spend my time with. Or so I had a lot of time where I could look into myself. I could see inside and then see that what is the purpose of my life, or why I'm in this situation, and what God is trying to do. So it was more of like a spiritual search for me. And then more I questioned, more I got into Word, and then I prayed, and then I started reading the Bible in more in depth, doing Bible study, personal Bible study. And more I got into the Word, more I was assured, and more I got thankful to God for the situation I was also in, because there were so many lessons that I was learning as a wife, as a mother, as a pastor's wife. And then it helped me to go through those times of loneliness. And ultimately it helped me to surrender myself and surrender my insecurities, because it always had to be me that had to had the final say, or I had to have a control over situations and decisions. And God was teaching me through these times that I had to let it go. I had to depend on Him. I had to say I surrender, and then I give up, because it's ultimately once, until and unless, because like the Bible says, unless a seed goes into the ground, dies, it cannot produce life. So I ultimately gave every single situation in my life to God, and then learned to depend on Him. So from this video, I want to encourage, if you are somebody who is a pastor's wife, I want to encourage you that don't feel lonely. This may be a time where you can get closer to God. And then yes, people will disappoint, and then sometimes we also disappoint people, but the only person who will never disappoint, who will never leave us, is God. There will be times where you will be feeling very lonely, and then you may be feeling depressed also, but I want to encourage you that take comfort on God's word. Do your best, but we can't please everybody. But God is there. He's seeing you, He sees you, and He's the only one who will never leave you and who will never forsake you. So this is what I learned, and I hope that this encourages you. And if you are someone who is a church member, and you have a pastor and his wife, his family, maybe sometimes you can just pray for them, and then you can go to her, and then maybe she is the one who is feeling uncomfortable because she feels out of place, because maybe a husband is called to a ministry, he has a calling, but wives, they just come as a package. Husband is there, so wife has to be there, and there are responsibilities that we have to do as a pastor's wife. But if your pastor's wife is not able to do that, and what you are expecting, and if she is not able to fulfill that expectation, then give some room for growth, give some time, and pray for them, pray for her particularly, and pray with her. Maybe you can, if she's introvert, you can go and talk. It's okay. And then just encourage, because Bible says we should encourage each other. So thank you very much for being here and listening to my heart. And if you like the video, you can share it and subscribe it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.